So please welcome Avi Naiman.
Thank you very much, Howard. It's traditional to tell people to shut their phones off, but I don't really care if you shut yours off. Just be aware that if it goes off during the show, I'm going to start again from the beginning, so it's really up to you. 'Tis the season to be OLLI, fa la 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 la, la 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 la. You wouldn't believe how long it took me to memorize all those different notes. 'Tis the season to type happy holidays over and over and over. But every once in a while, we mistype it. And that can lead to some very interesting results. Now, if you're the kind of person who types OLLI on a daily basis, numerous times a day, then it's quite possible that your hands will just naturally double up that L, and you'll get happy holidays. But if you're really creative, like Pam McClure-Johnston, when she sent me a happy holidays greeting, and she accidentally, or so she claims, misplaced the L with a K, she wished me happy hokey days. And frankly, some of them really make that quite appropriate. So today we're going to celebrate some holidays and some hokey days. Now, we've got some traditional holidays: Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's. But we also have two special hokey days to celebrate. One is a very local one. It's end of duck season, at least for the UofO football team. And then the other one is a new national hokey day. We don't quite have a date for it yet, but it's impeachment. So we're going to deal with these 6 holidays and hokey days together. Holiday season is a time of quite a bit of backups when you travel, and this leads to many instances of people missing their onward flights. So airlines are experimenting with novel ways to help people make their connections, including this door-to-door on-the-tarmac service. The first holiday that we're going to deal with is Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a very nice one. Jean Shore invited me to join her family. She was very thoughtful to call me in advance to see if I was allergic to anything. Dairy, no. Eggs, no. Gluten, no. Nuts, no. Then she asked me if I'm allergic to cat. And I said, I try to respect other people's family traditions, but I do not eat cat. I'll stick to the turkey and ham, thank you, ma'am. And she explains, she was talking about her cat pie. I said, I don't care if you put it in dessert, I'm still not going to eat it. Now, some of you may think that that's in bad taste, but it was actually quite yummy. Gave me a whole new perspective on pet food. You may remember that Trump pardoned one of the pair of turkeys. This pair was named Bread and Butter got the official pardon, and the question is, what happened to Bread? He brought it back to the White House for a first family Thanksgiving dinner, and he would therefore be dining on bread and bread alone. It turns out the White House chef is a Democrat, and he marinated Bread in this very unique brine consisting of mint leaves and peach liqueur, and then served it to the first family as turkey in peach mint. A little louder, please. I guess the chef doesn't understand which side his bread is buttered on. Now, Melania wasn't quite sure which turkey they were being served. When told that she was eating bread, she said, I can't believe it's not butter. Despite all my attempts to hide it, some of you may have figured out that I am Jewish. In fact, I grew up in quite an Orthodox home. And, we grew up in a society that's very Christian, so we're surrounded by these very public displays of celebrations of the holidays, which can sometimes make you feel left out and uncomfortable. But there was always one time each year that we felt we could gloat over our Gentile friends and neighbors, and that was Hanukkah. Because on Hanukkah, we had 8 nights of celebration with daily gifts under the Hanukkah bush. Whereas our Gentile friends, they only got to celebrate one day of Christmas. So sad. It wasn't until many years later that I learned the bitter truth. Christmas isn't nearly as sad as I had hoped. I warn you, this is how religious shopping wars get started. So what holiday's next? That's right, New Year's. So let me tell you about one of my 2019 resolutions. I resolved to lose a very modest 5 pounds. I only have 17 more to go. Do you realize that for the first time in the history of mankind, those silly New Year's Day eyeglasses are actually gonna make sense? And what's amazing is we're gonna be able to use them for 2 years in a row, because in 2021, we'll be able to put them on backwards and have 20/20 hindsight. Our final hokey day to deal with is end of duck football season. As many of you know, Justin Herbert is the star quarterback for the Ducks. And he's a top NFL draft pick. He's a senior. So this coming New Year's Day's Rose Bowl is going to be his final college game. And this is creating some amount of panic at UofO as to what the team's going to look like next fall. I am delighted to be the first to report on an innovative and highly secretive collaboration between the forthcoming Knight Science Center and Colonel Sanders. It will be the Avian Cloning Center for Food and Football. This is going to allow Colonel Sanders to branch out from Kentucky Fried Chicken and start offering Kentucky Fried Duck. The spokesduck for this new venture is going to be our very own MC and film buff, Howard Schuman. He will be reprising his 1986 film role as Howard the Duck. Truth be told, the very first attempts at cloning rubber duckies didn't quite turn out the way anticipated, and there always seem to be minor variations. So the KFD duckologists had to go back to the drawing board, and the more recent attempts have been quite successful. Meanwhile, the UofO herbologists have been busy as beavers on their first duck cloning project, Justin Herbert. So that, come fall, they will have a team composed entirely of Justin Herbert. That is, a team composed just in Herbert. And they will have all of their duck in a row, undoubtedly, opponents will cry foul. UofO has made their position on this crystal clear in a future press release, and I quote, "Comparable to covalently bonded duplicate hydrogen and oxygen descending an anatides dorsum." The 11 Herberts comprising the duck offense will not only be a secret weapon for UofO, they'll be Colonel Sanders' new secret flavorings. Whereas Kentucky Fried Chicken prides itself on 11 secret herbs and spices, Kentucky Fried Duck will be sufficient to use just 11 herbs. But wait, there's more. A couple of months ago, you may remember a very exciting finish to the Oregon-Washington State game here at Autzen Stadium. As you can see on the bottom right, with 2 seconds to go in the game, the Ducks were behind by 2 points. Well, technically only by 1 point. Who wrote this material? I guess it's a good thing I retired from my math career. Would the place kicker win the game for the Ducks with a last-second field goal? So how did the game end? The Ducks won, leading to the future Kentucky Fried Duck slogan, "It's finger kickin' good." And that switch from lickin' to kickin' brings us back full circle to Pam's Freudian typo, where she too replaced an L with a K and wished me a happy Hokey Days. I do, however, hold out the possibility of someone subconsciously hitting not only the double L, but the shift key as well, and the color change menu, yielding the most suitable seasonal message possible: Happy Holidays. Thank you very much.